All right. Back again with another episode of the I'm Not a Hater podcast. This is your favorite not hater, going by the name of Mr. Brown. And today we're going to talk about a topic that a lot of people struggle with, and that's success. And what does that look like to you? Um, you know, Success can come in many different forms, but we'll get right into it. So, as one of my favorite Jay-Z lines goes, don't be good, be great. After that government cheese, we eating steaks. You might be like, well, what does this line mean? Right? This line symbolizes the feeling of reaching a certain level of success and you can finally enjoy the fruits of your labor. So I'm going to ask you right now, what does success look like for you? Now, you could ask a million different people and you'll get a million different answers as to what being successful actually looks like. For example, a person at the bottom, and when I say the bottom, I mean the lowest of the low, they might look at you. When I say you, people out here watching, and they may feel like you're successful because they don't have what you have. You might look at a person who's in a higher tax bracket or what we deem today as successful. They have a big house and 2 to 3 different cars, and they live in a good lifestyle. You might look at that as successful, and those people might look at somebody such as Bill Gates or Elon Musk as ultimately Warren Buffett as successful. Success comes in many different ways, in many different forms. But I'll break it down for you in an easy way. So, if you set goals for yourself, they can be any range of goals, it doesn't matter. If you set 5 goals, let's say, for yourself, and you complete 4 of them, which in most cases is 80%, right? Most people would deem you successful. But if you're a person that's driven and you want to complete all your goals, once you hit that 5th goal, you should celebrate yourself and then begin your next steps to conquering your next goals. Success is a never-ending journey, and it just doesn't stop with completing one set of goals. It goes for the rest of your life. You're going to be trying to chase what is deemed successful. But there's a few things to remember, right? Remember that you ultimately determine your success. Don't let what others do stop or start your journey of success when accomplishing your goals or going from good to great. You have to have tunnel vision, block out all distractions, including self-doubt, because truthfully, you're going to be the biggest deterrent from being successful. But don't let you stop you. Stay committed to that goal of being great and focus on making those things happen for yourself. So if you want to own a business per se, right? And I think I talked about this in the Dream Chaser episode. You're going to have people who try to stop you from completing your goal. But what I didn't tell you the first time was that, or maybe I did, you're going to be the biggest distraction. And people call it getting in your head or getting in your own way. There's many different things that you could call it, right? But you can ultimately stop you from being successful. Put your tunnel vision goggles on and just plow straight through until you get to the end, your end game, right? Because you want to be successful. You want to own that business in that case, or, whatever your goal is. But always remember, you're trying to go from being just good to being great. I often, in my own personal world, personal life, I struggle with what I deem as successful, right? And people will say to me all the time, you're a success, but I don't always feel like I'm successful. I often, I do it too. Just like I told you just now, don't let people or don't let yourself stop you. I often deal with that. I often have a hard time stopping myself from, knocking me off course. Um, so for me, right, I had a goal. It didn't initially start out as a goal, but with this podcast, I wanted to give it a shot. I ultimately, right, before I just finally got out of my own way and got out my own head and did it, I tried to stop myself like several times. Like, nah, I'm not going to do it. I'll just, you tell yourself, like, nah, I'll just stick to my lane. I'll just help other people, do what they do, or, what I've been doing the whole time, right? Just being a help to people. And not that, the podcast is like super successful, right? It's still in the beginning stages, but I had to get out of my own way and take that chance, because if I didn't, right, I'd still be at step one, of trying to do it. And I'm no longer at that place. So, I had to clap for myself like a couple days ago. I looked at, my Spotify page and I was like, wow, I got 10 episodes of a podcast that I, didn't really plan out to do, but took the time to do it. And to me, right now, goal number one was to, just get started. And so that I can deem successful, right? Even in my regular job, right? My education job, I can look at, being voted Hero of the Year last year at my school, right? I can look at that and deem that as a success. Don't really get a chance to celebrate myself often at my job because sometimes it just feels crazy sometimes, but that was a successful moment for me. And shared it on social media, whatever the case is, and got the likes, and then just kind of moved on. I'm not a big celebratory person like that, but that was another moment where there was a level of accomplishment there. So took the time to celebrate it and then moved on to the next thing. It's very easy to celebrate yourself after each step, right? As you should. I think after every step you take to accomplishing a goal, like, celebrate that, because you're stepping out of your box. It's something that you've never done before, and it's a beautiful thing when it all comes together and the final goal is accomplished. Like, you'll look back at all the steps and you'll realize that it was me taking the time out to do these things and put these steps together that led to this success. But don't, and I repeat, don't let you, or anyone else for that matter, stop you from your successful journey, because you're gonna have bumps in the road on it. You're gonna want to stop, you're gonna want to quit. But remember, if I don't tell you nothing else, tunnel vision until the end. You got to just keep pushing and keep going, even at those moments when you don't want to. You have to, because it's ultimately your goal that you want to reach. It's a goal that you set. Don't let nobody stop you from obtaining your goal. Success comes in many forms, right? For the homeless person, it would be getting a place to stay. Maybe for everybody else out there in the world right now that has a place to stay, because I did use that just now, it maybe would be getting a promotion or owning a business. Whatever it is, go after it. You can determine what success is, or what success may look like. For the person who makes $1 million deals every day, maybe it's to make a $5 million deal. For the person who owns a $1 trillion business, maybe it's to take over another business. There's many forms of what success is and what people go after each day. But just make sure when you're going after it, you remain, true to yourself, true to your goals. Celebrate yourself at all times. And when you get to that final end game, when you get to that goal that you've been trying to obtain, just make sure that you are proud of what you've done. It's really that simple, man. I try to make these episodes and these things very, very simple. You can be good at something, or you could be great at something. It's up to you. But the success, it's up to you. Good versus great. You can be good at it. You can be great at it. What does that success look like for you? Just think about that. Dwell on it for a little bit. And I'll see you at the next episode. Peace and love.